From across the dimension, Spider-Man's greatest foes attack. I'm Keckers, and this is Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, before we get going, remember to subscribe and hit that bell icon for notifications so you know when we're posting. Now, this film has been surrounded by rumor and theory for quite some time. In fact, more has been said about who and what could possibly be in it than actually what the previous film set up. And as someone who was not the biggest fan of the previous crop of Spider-Man films, I have to say I was really looking for something different in this one, really hoping that it would turn me around on this version of the character. Can this film break the curse of number 3 for Spider-Man? Well, let's see. Picking up immediately following the conclusion of No Way Home, with Peter's identity known, he has to navigate the problems of bad press and bad public opinion. But this film doesn't really dig into it, or make it as big of a problem as it seems to think it has. Issues of privacy or retaliation against past deeds really only seem to affect the very beginning of the film, and seem more like just a reason to get J.K. Simmons' J. Jonah Jameson on the case, and while he's entertaining, he seems to possess none of the heart and integrity of the Raimi versions of the character. But the troubles he does have leads him to seek help from the master of the mystic arts, Doctor Strange, as he tries to find a magical shortcut around his problems, and ends up making everything far worse. A big theme of the story seems to be shortcuts, seems to be the lack of responsibility. You see, my biggest problem with MCU Peter is that he seems to be making the same mistakes over and over again, rushing into things, he doesn't seek help, he doesn't listen to others. That's something reflected in the villains, each of whom are also victims of their own lack of connections with other people. Pete, MJ, and Ned and their connection to each other are what make them stronger. And when he listens to them, when he actually understands and deals with people on a natural level, that's when he's at his best. Unfortunately, the film doesn't seem to agree with me, and we spend far too long with the characters sidelined, which would be good if the characters that we did spend our time with felt more real. But the dimensional refugees really don't belong here, and I don't mean in this world, I mean in this story. Don't get me wrong, the actors are great. The performances are really showing the possibilities for them, especially William Dafoe as the Green Goblin, but we spend far too long with them just sitting around in places, not really advancing the story. There are quite a few action set pieces, really good action set pieces. The fighting and swinging are something that really stands out, especially on an IMAX screen. It's just that because most of the story hinges on characters making bad decision after bad decision, not talking, not explaining anything, it's hard for me to root for them during these scenes. This film really is 3 different stories mashed together with none of them being given the proper time to breathe. And I'd say there are 2 really good movies trapped in here. The climax, however, the status quo changing climax, really does make me excited for the future. I know it doesn't sound like it, but I really did enjoy this film. It's just riddled with contrivance after contrivance and the muddled script, but it's buoyed by great performances and the chemistry between the 3 leads, as well as these special guests. It's certainly worth seeing, especially if you're a fan of the character. Well, at least the film left me feeling better about the character and the franchise going out than I did coming in, and that says a lot. Well, anyway, I'm Keckers, this is Spider-Man No Way Home, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.